episode number 255, 1,000 horsepower convertible Camaro. Welcome to the Camaro Show,
a podcast about all things Camaro and GM performance news.
I'm Chris Frezza.
And I'm Jason Debler.
We're your hosts for this week's episode of the Camaro Show. Want to be part of our show? It's easy.
Just leave a message on our voicemail hotline at 586-486-3182.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And welcome back, everyone, for another exciting episode of the Camaro Show. I'm Chris.
I'm Jason.
Hey, what's up, dude?
There's this big, bright thing in the sky today.
Yeah.
It looks familiar.
I think I see it, too.
What the hell is it?
It's a flaming ball.
Oh, it's been so dreary lately.
Feel like you're at home, don't you?
Yeah, it really does. It's
Yeah.
Oh man, so to our listeners, I hope wherever you're at, the weather's reasonably nice because it's just been blah lately.
Yeah.
It made me feel blah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, we have winter, and in a few weeks it will be spring. And
That's
I think
right.
I think it's March 8th this year is when we set the clocks forward for another hour already.
hold on. Alexa, when is daylight savings time? Oh, hold on. Here we go. Alexa, when is daylight savings time? Where the heck is the
8th?
speaker?
Was it the 8th, did it say?
Here, it wasn't turned up enough. I usually keep this thing on mute. I got it dirt cheap. Here we go. Okay, let's try it again. Here we go. Ready? Alexa, when is daylight savings time?
In the United States, daylight savings time starts on March 8, 2020.
There you
Hey,
go.
See?
And I'm putting you back on mute so you can't hear what I'm talking about. Tell you what, the thing comes in handy, especially when I want to do math and don't feel like typing it out.
So that means like almost time to take the cars out.
I never put mine away.
Actually, I had mine out in December this year. I was driving it around. I forgot about that. First time, and I think I've had the convertible out in December with the top down.
On a related note, one of my developers lives in Canada,
Hey.
and he's really cool. His name is Andrew, and he's a phenomenal developer, and he's a motorcycle guy, and he's a hockey guy. So we always have things to talk about when we're
Cool.
not talking about work. And I mentioned the one time when Art Schroeder, I think it was Art, I don't think it was Ellie, it was Art Schroeder was driving his 4th gen convertible in like minus 22 degrees with the top down.
It might have been. No, was it?
Was it
Ellie?
Ellie?
It might have been. I think I remember that picture.
I've got it somewhere. Maybe it was
Yeah.
Ellie. I always get those two guys mixed up, and that's very unfair. It's only because they're both Canadian, and for no other reason.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and there you are driving. What was the temperature when you had your top down?
It wasn't that cold. It was maybe 39, 40 out.
But nice and sunny, obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Really?
In fact, there is something in the Camaro built in where once it drops below a certain temperature, the top will not go down.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I don't know if the motors, whatever,
Oh,
to operate in the
That
cold.
makes sense. Yeah,
But I'm sure Al could answer that question for me.
that's right.
I know, or I could just Google it.
Al's got his hands full. So you've had your Camaro for how long now?
Well, I bought it in is it 2016? I think I bought it in 2016. It was as a 2017 model. So,
So
yeah,
going on 4 years, man.
it's out of warranty.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't
just
buy an
doesn't
extended
seem like
warranty.
Doesn't seem like it's been that long.
I know.
And you're pretty happy with the power that it makes, right?
Yeah, it's like my 5th gen ZL1. The LT1 motors it's a beast. I love it. And having a convertible has been just so much fun. Just throwing the top down, and just getting in and cruising. I love it.
And just for the folks at home, how much horsepower does that convertible of yours have with that LT1?
455? Is that what it is?
That's a whole lot of power.
Yeah.
How'd you like to more than double that for your convertible?
More than double it. Yeah.
More than double it, yeah.
A lot of places won't allow you to race them or even track them without a roll bar. With that,
Well,
because it's a convertible.
Yep.
Remember, like, I mean, you did the M events and all that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
you needed a convertible. You needed a roll bar when you ran certain times, right?
Yeah. And not the ones that's made out of painted PVC pipe that some guys would do just to pass inspection.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah, because nothing like compromising your own safety, idiots. But anyway, well, where we're going with this is that based on the title alone of this episode, you can tell that well, our friends over there at SVE is now making 1,000 horsepower Camaro Convertible.
Yenkos.
Whew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that kind of? I guess it doesn't make any difference. Fast is fast, right? But with the top down, it's got to have a completely different aspect to it.
It is. It just opens up your world when you're driving a convertible.
Yeah. This comes from, as always, our friends at musclecarsandtrucks.com. This is crazy. I'm going to the SVE website right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. I mean, we've talked about SVE's cars before. They usually debut them at SEMA. They've also got their, extreme supercharged sport truck. They brought back the Cyclone name. They do Yukons and Escalades and all sorts of stuff, and just always doing some cool stuff. And this is just bonkers.
It's beautiful. The crown jewel of this 1,000 horsepower Chevrolet Camaro is an LT1 based supercharged V8 engine that's grown from a 6.2 liter to a 6.8 liter, 418 cubic inches of displacement, as seen in the Yenko SC Stage II Camaro. It features a forged 4340 steel crankshaft, an H-beam rods, forged aluminum piston, CNC ported high-flow LT4 cylinder heads, upgraded fuel system injectors, and ARP, high-strength head and main studs, high-output custom supercharger in black. Custom colors are optional. 10-rib dedicated belt drive system, 10% larger throttle body, custom stainless steel long-tube headers, and high-flow cats, and a higher capacity high-flow and low-pressure fuel system. So, in other words, this car's a beast of gargantuan power. I like that word. People don't use that. People do not use that word enough anymore, in my opinion. Gargantuan.
Yeah, but you know what they do use?
What?
Ginormous, because it's cute.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Gapplebees. Anyways.
Oh, God. It's even worse. No, it's actually not. I think ginormous is silly. I hate it when people, it's ginormous. Oh, you put two words together. So cute.
Setting the Yenko Camaro Convertible apart from the flock is the unique paint and badging, as well as graphics on top of the body-colored carbon fiber hood. If that doesn't give things away, the 1,000 horsepower markings on the hood scoop will send the message loud and clear. Let's see, how many are they going to make? 25.
50. Oh, so it's half of the normal amount.
Specialty Vehicle Engineering plans to build only 25 examples of the Yenko Camaro Stage I convertible, and based off the Camaro S1SS or 2SS package. Lastly, while the Yenko Camaro Stage I is being revealed as a convertible, it's available as a coupe too.
Yep.
Pricing is not immediately clear, but you can probably expect this 1,000 package to run around $69,000 and up, as seen with the 2020 Yenko's SC Stage II Chevrolet Camaro.
So that's $69,000 on top of the price of the car.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that is definitely an ouch, but I mean, what you're getting, okay, you're not getting some fly-by-night tuner thrown together.
No,
you're going to get a warranted, validated car that they will stand behind. They've got a very good reputation. So, if I won the lottery, I would definitely have one of these in my garage. Definitely have one of these in my garage.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
This is definitely a collector's item for sure.
Oh, I
in
would,
addition
I
to
would,
the...
Dude, I would drive the piss out of this thing.
In addition to the gargantuan power that it makes. Yeah, see how I did that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really something, man.
God, I'm going to link this up in the show notes. Everybody should go look at these pictures, because I want this orange one right here. That one. Wow, whoever shot that picture, who did that picture, that would make an awesome poster. Dave, if you're listening, make posters of that picture and hand them out at your show. Oh my goodness. Not only will you put everybody wanting you to sign these things, but these things will be hanging up everywhere. God, I love that picture.
Actually, I probably know who made it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Same guy that, if it's the same guy, it's the same guy that I worked with side by side at SLP.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Yeah. He always did great work. He did. It looks like his work.
Wow, it looks beautiful.
It does. That shot is just perfect.
Yeah,
you can tell exactly what everything is in that car just by that picture.
Yep.
Here's the funny part: that shot was probably just taken in a parking lot. Like they just parked the car and hit a few angles, and I'm not going to give out his name, but probably just said, okay, I'll do that one. And then he spends a gargantuan amount of time getting it perfect.
Perfect.
It's amazing. Wow. And they all do this. All the car images that you see, if they're not computer generated, hours, many hours go into it. Well, there's the proof, though. It looks wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good job, Hamburger team.
Great. All right.
Hey, I got a question.
Yes.
Do you say it is a Camaro convertible, or do you say it's a convertible Camaro?
I usually say Camaro convertible because I usually say it's a Chevrolet Camaro convertible. So it's a Camaro C28. It's a Camaro SS. It's a Camaro SS convertible.
That's when it's a package. I hate it when people say SS Camaro or GT Mustang. Yeah, there's a GT Mustang.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
How about that? But,
okay,
so if you didn't say Chevrolet, would you say it's a 2020 convertible Camaro?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'd like to know what you guys think. Is there a right or wrong answer?
Probably not, but somebody's going to say it's right or wrong anyway.
Well, yeah.
Because nobody can be wrong on the internet.
And they're going to tell you to piss off and whatever.
And then they're going to... And if they do realize they're wrong, they're going to blame you for it because they didn't get enough participation trophies.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. You're wrong, and you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about, you big doo-doo head.
Big doo-doo head.
Mashed potato face. Donkey butt. Okay. We got an email. We should probably move on. I think I ruined the whole segment. Got an email from Sean from Oceanside.
Yep.
In response to what we talked about in our last episode about when you were out in California, especially California, we talk about brand loyalty and talk about
I'm just as a surveyor of everything non-California in California, which I will still say seems like a different country than the rest of the United States. Sean has sent us an email with his opinion on what we talked about.
Yeah, you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, "Dear Chris and Jason." That wasn't a bad Casey Kasem impression, was it? The reason so many in California drive Toyota and Honda is due to both companies developing brand loyalty over the past 3 decades based on quality and value, with quality being the key factor. Where's he going with this crap? Remember back in the 1980s, the Big Three lobbied the federal government to impose tariffs on Japan to reduce competition. The Big Three short-sightedly focused on reducing competition, but did not focus on quality or innovation. Toyota, Honda, Nissan, etc. delivered on quality, innovation, value, and increased gas mileage, while U.S. automakers lagged behind. That, combined with a naive expectation that consumers will buy American, resulted in losing market share and loyal customers. Currently, the Big Three are once again playing catch-up, but this time they are trying to catch up with Tesla. A Humvee with a bazillion foot-pounds, I was going to say gargantuan, foot-pounds of torque is great, but without the charging network to support it, consumers will turn to Tesla as they know they can drive cross-country with minimal delays. The other factor which holds the Big Three back is the stale 20th century corporate culture that has become inflexible and too risk-adverse. A good book to read on this subject is Leadership by Rande Soma, and he gave a link to it. Interesting points. But he also continues, Jason, regarding the Copo Camaro, YOLO. Pull money out of that 401k and Roth IRA. Who needs to retire in regards to my being selected
for
the second time? So going back to what he's talking about, he broke this up into 3 paragraphs. And thanks for this insight, Sean. It's very good insight indeed.
It is great, good insight.
And I think that you it's probably the best way to tell the story as to why things happened. Right.
California is a giant state. Like compared to Michigan, let's see, how many residents
Yeah.
live
Want me to ask Alexa?
in California? Go ahead.
Alexa, how many residents are in California?
As of 2017, the population of California is 39.54 million.
So 40 million.
So, yeah, it's about 40 million. So how many people live in Michigan?
Alexa, how many people live in Michigan?
As of 2017, the population of Michigan is 9.962 million.
So a quarter.
So 40 million people, yeah, in California. California's a big state. About 10 million in Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, this show isn't sponsored by Amazon. I just happen to have it on my account at my desk here. By the way, Amazon, if you'd like to sponsor us, just reach out to webmasters at so 4 times the amount of people.
Yeah. So I think
there's so many comments I can make.
I know.
I don't want to offend my California friends.
I know. I mean, I love our friends in California, but things are just so effed up out there.
People love it.
People, I mean, but they got to pay that sunshine tax, man. They got to pay that sunshine tax. Tesla has done a phenomenal job, I would say, of being the automotive manufacturer who doesn't run like an automotive manufacturer. They run more like a tech company. And that's good, but that also can be bad. I have personally been taking around the Tesla factory in Fremont, California, and they have grossly underutilized that factory. Underutilized that factory. I don't know if they just went in there. I mean, because they bought that from GM. They used to be the Numi manufacturing plant.
Oh yeah, I actually did work for Numi when I was an engineer.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
There was many different vehicles produced by General Motors there, and then they did a joint effort with Toyota there, and they produced the Vibe and the Matrix. And I think before they closed, and I think in bankruptcy is when was it when General Motors sold that?
Yep.
It was cheaper to sell them to Tesla than to close and demolish that plant because the grounds there are so by California standards polluted.
Oh,
from all the years of producing manufacturing vehicles there. And so Tesla got it for a song, obviously. And obviously not being an automotive manufacturer, they didn't know how to utilize the space in there. So now you're seeing them purchasing and building plants in Texas, Nevada, to produce. I think the Model Y is going to be produced and the truck is going to be produced, I think, in Nevada, while they're still producing their other cars in California. But that's just kind of
Well, I mean, it's
a little thing I've been researching on my own over the last couple of years. As in brand loyalty, I'm looking at this through a lens of coming from Michigan. Mm-hmm. We're the automotive capital of the world. Okay.
Yep.
We're producing more vehicles. I mean, we have the big three here in Detroit: GM, Chrysler, Ford.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many plants here. When you look on the road here and you see someone driving down the road, more than likely it's going to be a GM vehicle, it's going to be a Chrysler vehicle, it's going to be a Ford vehicle. I mean, you do see the occasional, and I'm not saying occasional. I mean, people do drive Hondas and Toyotas and Kia and stuff like that.
Sure.
But it's more of, hey, look at that foreign car, going down the road. Everything else is manufactured because we are engrossed in it here. That's our way of living. Kind of like if you're in California, you see so many Teslas on the road. But up until the Model 3 came out, Tesla was a rich man's car, man.
Oh yeah.
It's not cheap. Tesla has invested a lot in their electric, their supercharger system going across the country too. the downfall is the more cars produced by Tesla, the more people are lining up down the road and having to wait 3 hours to charge their cars. I mean, just recently, look at the news from Southern California. People, I think it was last Easter, people were coming across the border from Nevada into California, and just do a search on this. They were lined up down the road trying to charge their car. Did you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was insane. It was insane. And that's just another thing. That's just another, I guess, reason why I don't think we're ready for electric cars full time.
Well, yeah, but this isn't something that can't be fixed with writing a big fat check.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen.
You got to have the infrastructure too.
That's true. We need less people on the roads. Period.
Just because you drive an electric vehicle doesn't mean you're, more earth friendly. I mean, who's producing the lithium-ion batteries? Where are they disposing of the lithium-ion batteries? All that kind of stuff goes into account. But yeah, I think good points were made by Sean.
Oh yeah, very good. Thank you for summarizing that. I think back. I mentioned this a lot over the years on this show. Most of my family, when I grew up in the Lansing, Michigan area, I shouldn't say most, but a good portion of my family worked at the General Motors plants their whole lives.
Yeah. And
they only bought General Motors vehicle, as Dan Gilbert would say, eat your own dog food. And that's great. But the thing is that you can't survive by selling to yourself in so many ways. And boy, they were, looking back and knowing what I know now, they were definitely very short-sighted. The U.S. cars were crap in the 80s.
Oh my God.
And getting into the 90s. In fact, they're better. I would think they're better now than they ever were.
Quality is better
now. They got to keep up to survive.
Well, you got to compete.
Yeah. But oh gosh,
it says other factors that are holding back the big three is the stale 20th century corporate culture.
Yeah.
I can agree and disagree. I think things have changed drastically over the last 10 years, especially since the bankruptcy. But also running a car company like a tech company can have its pitfalls as well.
Like what? Tell me about that.
One, they don't know how to design a freaking factory. Big time.
Well, the factories just make the product. They don't make the decisions. The decisions need to be run like a software company. Well, that's what I think. Let's see here. I just, while we're talking, I pulled this up. Most 2020. This is JD Power 2020. Most dependable model per segment: small car, Honda Fit; compact car, Nissan Leaf; midsize car, Buick Regal; large car, Toyota Avalon. I just hear it that way in my head. Yeah. I don't know why. Small premium car, BMW 2 Series; compact premium car, Lexus ES; midsize. How long is this list? It's all right. Midsize premium, Genesis G80; compact sporty car, Mazda MX-5 Miyagi; midsize sporty car, Ford Mustang; small SUV, Buick Encore; compact SUV, Chevrolet Equinox; midsize SUV, Toyota 4Runner; large SUV, Chevrolet Tahoe; small premium SUV, Mercedes-Benz GLA; compact premium SUV, Porsche Macan, Macadamia Nut; midsize premium SUV, Lexus GX; minivan, Toyota Sienna; midsize pickup, Nissan Frontier, which they haven't updated the Nissan Frontier in like 15 years; large light-duty pickup, Ford F-150 and Toyota Tundra Thai; and then large heavy-duty pickup, Chevrolet Silverado HD. So there was a time when no automotive manufacturer were on that list. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah. I think we've been seeing changes over the last decade. So.
Oh shoot! I just should scroll down. Most dependable brands. I'll just do top 5. Number 1 is Genesis. Is that a brand?
Genesis is a brand? I thought it's Kia.
So did I. Maybe they spun off their own brand. Number 2 is Lexus. Number 3 is Buick. Number 4 is Porsche. Number 5 is Toyota. And then Chevrolet is number 9. Ford is number 10. Cadillac is 12. I'm just looking for American now. Ram is 19. Dodge is 25. Jeep is 26. GMC is 28, which doesn't make sense. Oh, as a brand, yeah, I get it. Chrysler is 31. So
we could talk about this for an hour.
they're not doing too bad, though, compared to what they used to be. I'd love to know what it was 10, 20 years ago. All right. I know we got to move on. Let's see here. What else we got to talk about here? Oh, yeah. YOLO. I got an email just recently from somebody that bought one of the diecast cars that I designed and produced. And, it's been many years since I did that. 10, now that I think about it.
Wow.
Yeah. And somebody bought one, and they wanted me to explain the history about it. And so I thought it might be easier just to mention it here. Plus, maybe we get a new listener on the show. So, yeah, a long time ago, Chris, you and I, we owned a website called CamaroZ28.com. It had some heyday back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And I always wanted to make my own site-branded diecast cars because I was a diecast collector. I think most of us are at some point. And so I worked with a company called Greenlight to produce a series of diecast cars. The first three were CamaroZ28.com diecast, and I designed all three of them. The first one was a 5th gen, but patterned purposely on your 4th gen design, black with silver stripes, just to pay homage to your car. The second one was the Sunoco race car.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That I released that 2 weeks before, a week before SEMA.
Yep.
And then SEMA happens, and Chevrolet had been building the real deal at the same time that I designed the diecast version.
Completely.
And they thought that I knew, and I just didn't know. I didn't even know.
No, that was funny.
The third one was a 5th gen Camaro convertible pace car with the classic Indy 500 pace graphics on it. And as far as I know, that was the first designed 5th gen with throwback Indy pace car graphics and in a convertible that was ever designed, even though it was 1/64 scale. And then the very last one, I decided to change it to the Camaro Enthusiast Collection, because I didn't want it to be so site specific, because they were pretty popular. I mean, people loved them, and I was really enthused by the fact that the first one sold out in like a month.
Yeah.
Like, it was gone. I know Brent Franker has a couple cases of each one in his garage, by the way.
Wow.
Cases. Like, cases. I don't remember how many is in a case, but it's quite a bit. And so I changed the name to Camaro Enthusiast Collection. I decided I did, the street car. I did the road racer, if you will. And then I did the pace car. And then I'm going to do a drag racer. So the fourth in the series, I call it the Series 4, had slicks and skinnies. And I just, carbon fiber hood and roof and all that, and with drag racing markings on it. And that was that. So that's the history behind them. I sold them directly. I was a one-man operation. I designed it. I paid for it, and it wasn't cheap to have those things made. It was a gamble, but it did okay. I made my money back, and I had a lot of fun with it. I was a one-man shipping operation, packaging, shipping, everything. Had some help with people folding the boxes. And I also had distributors.
And all those cards we had to sign.
Yeah, some of them were signed. I think, if I remember right, the very first one I released, you could get it plain, with no signature, or you could get it signed. The first 100 had the option to be signed by us because they were all numbered, and I made sure that I sold them sequentially.
Right, because they had the cards that we signed, and we signed them in blue and in black, or the green machines we signed in green.
That's right. So I made sure that they were sold perfectly sequentially. So the earlier you order, the lower the number, and you got a matching certificate of authenticity on heavy cardstock that we had both signed. And that was a drag because they came, there was over 1,000 of them made, and they didn't come in any order. Like, they weren't packaged in any order. So I actually had to borrow some warehouse space and lay them all out in groups of 10 up to 1,400 so I could order them perfectly. So I was true to my word that the earlier orders got a lower number.
Wow.
And that took days to sort through.
Wow.
So anyway, we also had Scott Sunnemeyer sign some, the F-Bod father.
Mm-hmm.
Those, I think we only did like the first 50, 20, something like that. And he sat right in my basement bar at my house signing those with us. I got pictures of that.
Yeah.
And then there was actually a little spin-off. There's also a company called M2 Machines that I partnered up with one of my distributors. God, I can't even think of the name off the top of my head, but we made a first-gen pro touring car that I designed as well. And that was pretty fun. I don't remember how many. There was less than 1,000 of those. Yeah, Chris, what do you got? You actually have one up there. There you go. That's right. How many are available? Were made. There's a sticker on the front, I think.
Let's see. It says special edition body 2011 Collector's Corner limited edition 492 pieces.
Yep. Collector's Corner, Collectibles Corner. Cool guy too. One of my distributors, he's like, "Hey, let's do a car together." I'm like, "Sure, okay." So there you have that, and we signed some of those too. Here's the funny part: I don't have any of them left.
I do.
Because when I moved from, no, you can't open it. What's wrong with you? Put it down, Chris. Put it back. You've got a match set. You have number 8s.
Yep. Vito has some in boxes, never opened.
Yep.
With the cards and everything. Yeah.
When I moved from Michigan to Nashville, I wanted to cut a lot of clutter, and I thought it'd be better in the hands of somebody else. So I sold even the number 1 car that I held onto for myself.
Wow.
All of them. And I sold the prototypes. There was always prototypes.
Yeah.
I do have some. I took like a super high number and I opened them up, and I do have those. They're just loose.
Oh, okay.
Because I displayed them on my bookshelf. But otherwise, I sold every single one of them. They're all gone. They're all out there in the wild, and I hope they're thoroughly being enjoyed by people, including the person that emailed me asking for the history behind it. So I think that's it. I think I covered it. I don't think there's any more. Oh, and just for the record, if you're that person, you don't know who the F-Bod father is, Scott Settlemeyer that signed the early ones. He is the Camaro brand manager. That's actually not one of mine that you're holding up.
Oh.
He was a Camaro brand manager or product manager or something like that. His title changed quite a bit for Chevrolet, and a good friend of ours to this day. Let's see, what else can I mention? Yeah, if you're listening and you bought one back in the day or bought more than one, I know a few people bought quite a handful. Nope, not mine.
What the heck? Where did I get these
Chris is holding up cars that he's got in on his desk, and he's picking up cars that aren't the ones I designed.
Oops.
You ought to know by now. They say CamaroZ28.com on them.
Yeah, but this one doesn't. The M2 one doesn't.
I said that one's kind of like an offshoot.
Oh.
Don't worry about that one.
Okay.
Anyway, so as I continue to talk, thank you for buying those from me. It really made those projects a success, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that people enjoy them. They were fun. It was fun to design them. I still have all the original working artwork. There were different throwaway designs that I never moved on. The drag race car was supposed to have sponsor stickers all over it.
Oh.
Like a real dragster drag race car.
Yeah, T-Bird Motorsports on it, and
yeah, actually Thunder Racing actually did sponsor the car because sponsors helped me pay the upfront cost.
Yeah.
And I put their logo on the back. There's one particular one that went out of business right around that time that still owes me up in the hundreds of dollars for that sponsorship because but I won't mention them by name. Da 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 da. Get it?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Business is business, and sometimes it goes sideways.
Yeah.
It was fun. I thought about doing another one, doing a Corvette or something like that, but I don't know if people would be interested in them. There was like a wave of these small hobby batches that were made, and I was riding that wave. I guess I picked the right time.
Wow, that's cool.
The backs of the cars also tell the history on them as well, including how many were made. Oh, here's a nifty story. And then we'll wrap here because I know we're pretty much out of time. But when I made the very first one, the year was 2007 or 8 when I started designing it. I started working with Greenlight, and that was when they'd only released the Camaro Concept diecast.
Oh, okay.
Right, and we all thoroughly believed that it was going to come out in 2009. Well, come out as a 2009 model. So if you've got the very first CamaroZ28.com diecast car, if you flip it over and look on the back, you'll see where the card is. You'll see that on the back, it's actually been blacked out with a strip of printing that specifies it's a 2010. Oh. It has to cover up where I wrote the wording to say 2009. it had to pass GM legal approval to be produced, and they said nope, can't release it with that date on it. And so I think we changed 2009 to upcoming or something like that, because even then, when it was produced, it wasn't public as to what model year the new Camaro would be.
Yeah.
So look on the back of yours, and you'll see that little patch, if I remember right. God, those are good times.
Yep. I got my boxes behind there too.
Yep. I liquidated a lot of them. In fact, I've been liquidating more Camaro stuff on eBay. Just like some of the promo stuff that I've received over the years.
Heads up, Charlie 1111111, Charlie 111. He loves your stuff.
I know. I've got all these foam board design proofs that I got from either when I was working at Campbell Ewald or just friends gave them to me, and I've got no room for them anymore. And so if you like 5th gen and 4th gen Camaro collectible type stuff, gosh, I got them up on eBay, and there's no bids. 1996 Camaro RS design proof, 1997 Chevrolet Camaro Convertible design proof, 1998 Camaro Z28 design proof. These are, I use the word proof. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but they were put on foam board, and then they were put on the walls so everybody could look at them and compare the designs and the wording and say, I like this one better. So it's got Velcro on the back and pinholes because they were just meant to be tossed. And they were held onto and they were given to me. And again, I don't have any room for them. So it's pretty neat to go through that old stuff. I did keep this one. Got it right here. Nobody else can see it, but I'm holding up to the camera so Chris can see it. Chris, what's that say?
If everyone owned one, maybe we could have prevented disco.
Yep. It's a 1990. What's the year on this one? 1996.
Wow.
Design proof, and it shows a picture of a Camaro Z28, and that's what it says above it. If everyone owned one, maybe we could have prevented disco. They were doing it right then. They were a little bold. From the country that brought you rock and roll.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Man.
Cool.
Miss those days. All right, enough reminiscing.
Yep.
Let's get back to work. Oh yeah, we're out of time. Yeah. That's it.
Well, we don't have any voicemails either this week.
I hope not.
We definitely want you guys to call in. 586-486-3182.
Yep.
Let us know what you thought of what the Camaro Convertible. Should it be Convertible Camaro or Camaro Convertible?
And that's it.
Well,
anything else you want to talk about? What do you think of that 1,000 horsepower Yenko Camaro?
Yeah.
Ooh, convertible.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
See what happens when you get me on a roll?
Yeah. You talk for 15 minutes.
I know, and I'm not even drinking.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. See ya. Thanks for listening to The Camaro Show.
Don't forget, drop us a voicemail at 586-486-3182.
We'll see you next week. See ya.